Returning to the hospital from a routine afternoon call, ambulance nurse Isabel DuPont was organizing elderly patient Mrs. Eloise Beaumont's discharge forms. It was a calm Tuesday afternoon when ambulance driver Lucian turned up the radio volume when the message came over. Code red, multiple vehicle collision highway, 95-mile marker 23, minimum 8 victims trapped. Immediate response required. Asterisk Lucien immediately activated the sirens. Isabel, this is a major accident. 8 people trapped. The hydraulic rescue tools are with the fire department. We'll be waiting 30 minutes until they arrive, Lucian shouted as he sped toward Highway 95. But Isabel did something different. She calmly closed the forms, told Mrs. Eloise Beaumont, "We'll take good care of them, ma'am," and began mentally preparing. Unlike Lucian's desperation, she was already making rescue plans. When they arrived at the accident scene 3 minutes later, the moment Isabel stepped out of the ambulance, everyone on Highway 95 would learn who she really was in the next 12 minutes, because those twisted metal sounds and tactical extraction scenarios weren't foreign to her. When she approached the first trapped victim, Isabel's movement had changed. Her walk had changed. Her assessment method was different. It was as if she had become a completely different person. Welcome to Hidden Legends. Asterisk. Before continuing with this powerful story, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from. And if you believe stories like this should be told, hit that subscribe button. Isabel DuPont was a 36-year-old ambulance nurse who had been working at Denver's Metro Emergency Services for 6 years. She was the most reliable member of her team in emergency medical responses, calm, precise, always making the right decisions at critical moments. "Nurse Isabel is our best," said ambulance driver Lucien. "When I work with her, I know everything is under control." But Isabel's controllability came from places very different from a normal ambulance nurse's experience. The ambulance work routine was the same every day. Shifts started at 7 a.m. and ended at 7 p.m. Heart attacks, traffic accidents, home accidents, standard emergency responses. But Isabel's approach was different. Other paramedics found Isabel's response to emergencies strange. "Isabel, how do you stay so organized in the most stressful situations?" they would ask. "Training," Isabel would say quietly. "Every situation requires planning and prioritization." This training came from a 12-year Army Ranger career in the 75th Ranger Regiment. Combat engineering, explosive ordnance disposal, tactical rescue operations. Isabel had conducted rescue operations in the world's most dangerous regions. Isabel DuPont's real story began 18 years ago. She had joined the Army at 18. But why? Growing up in the Colorado mountains, Isabel had been interested in rescue operations since childhood. "I want to rescue people in danger," she told the military recruiter, "to be a lifesaver under extreme conditions." After basic military training, she received Army combat medic training, then airborne school, Ranger school. She showed extraordinary success in physical endurance and mental performance. Ranger selection was the toughest military training, combat engineering, explosive breaching, tactical medicine, rescue operations. Isabel managed to place in the top 5 among female candidates. During her 12 years of active duty, Isabel has served in various dangerous regions: mountain rescue operations, combat engineering, explosive ordnance disposal, urban warfare, building collapse rescue, explosive device neutralization. Isabel's expertise was confined space rescue and tactical extraction. Her most critical missions were specialized rescue operations, vehicle extrication, structural collapse response, high-risk personnel recovery. She had completed over 100 successful rescue operations. Isabel's Ranger training wasn't just standard combat. Combat engineering, explosive ordnance disposal, tactical medicine, vehicle extraction, specialized rescue skills. "A Ranger must be a multi-purpose rescuer," said training commander Captain Matteo Russo. "Combat medic, engineer, explosives expert, life-saving operations under extreme stress." Isabel had fully embraced this philosophy. Debris rescue, improvised extraction tools, limited resource operations. Her rescue knowledge was at military level. The most critical training was vehicle extrication operations, armored vehicles, civilian cars, building debris. Isabel had developed extraction expertise by combining mechanical knowledge and tactical thinking. During one operation, she had rescued 8 civilians from a building collapsed by a bomb attack. Isabel had safely extracted everyone in a 12-hour operation by combining engineering expertise and medical skills. She had specifically received multiple casualty extraction training, systematic rescue of many trapped people simultaneously. This training would be very useful on the highway. After 12 years of active duty, Isabel had decided to retire. PTSD symptoms, desire for civilian life, commitment to community service. She had made a career change to emergency medical services. "Why are you leaving the Army?" her Ranger commander had asked. "Because I want to continue rescue services in a peaceful civilian environment. Same mission, different operational context." During paramedic training, Isabel was overqualified. Advanced medical knowledge, tactical rescue experience, crisis management skills, but the instructors didn't question her detailed military background. "I've always wanted to work in emergency medical services," Isabel had said, "to help people in medical emergencies. Ambulance nursing was a perfect fit." The emergency response environment felt familiar to Isabel. High-pressure medical decisions, life or death situations, precision required. When Metro Emergency Services hired her, Isabel was an exceptional paramedic. Patient care excellence, crisis composure, technical expertise, but no one knew her extraordinary military rescue background. Tuesday, the 15th of November. Isabel was on her normal shift. They had completed Mrs. Eloise Beaumont's routine transport. The elderly woman was discharged. Paperwork completed. Returning to the hospital, Isabel was organizing Mrs. Eloise Beaumont's medical forms in the ambulance. Routine discharge, successful transport, normal Tuesday afternoon. "Nurse Isabel, thank you for taking such good care of me today," Mrs. Eloise Beaumont said gratefully. "You're welcome, Mrs. Eloise Beaumont. You're recovering wonderfully," Isabel said with professional warmth. But Isabel had noticed unusual activity in the radio traffic. Multiple emergency unit mobilization, increased dispatch frequency, subtle tension, emergency dispatch activated, code red, multiple vehicle collision highway 95-mile marker 23. Minimum 8 victims trapped, heavy machinery required. All available units respond. Asterisk. Immediate action began in the ambulance. Lucian activated sirens, route planning, emergency response mode. "Isabel, this is big. 8 trapped victims. Hydraulic rescue tools are at the fire department. It'll take 30 minutes, Lucian said with concern. "Copy," Isabel said, but she was conducting internal assessment, response time analysis, resource evaluation, tactical rescue planning. Radio chatter continued, multiple vehicles involved, possible structural damage, extraction equipment required immediately. Asterisk. Isabel was making different plans. Improvised extraction, tactical assessment, systematic rescue operations. They arrived at Highway 95 after 3 minutes. The scene was devastating. 5-vehicle chain collision, 2 cars completely crushed, 1 SUV overturned, debris everywhere. Isabel stepped out and immediately conducted tactical assessment. Vehicle positions, entrapment patterns, structural stability, casualty priority. "Isabel, this is a disaster impossible without fire department tools," Lucian said, overwhelmed. But Isabel had completed scene analysis. 8 trapped victims, 3 critical extractions required, structural compromised areas identified. First responders were arriving, but with limited extraction capability. Hydraulic tools were 25 minutes away. "Lucian, prepare medical supplies. I'll evaluate the extractions," Isabel said with calm authority. As Isabel walked toward the wreckage, Ranger training automatically activated. Combat engineering mindset, improvised rescue solutions, tactical problem solving. Isabel approached the first vehicle. Mid-sized sedan, roof collapse, driver trapped but conscious. Standard extraction impossible without hydraulic spreaders. "Sir, can you hear me? I'm Isabel, a paramedic. We're going to get you out," Isabel said with a reassuring voice. The driver was panicked. "I can't move, my legs are stuck. When will the fire department arrive?" Isabel conducted assessment, entrapment pattern, structural weak points, improvised leverage possibilities. Ranger engineering training kicked in. Ambulance equipment search, stretcher poles, oxygen tank, medical bag straps, improvised leverage system design. "Lucian, Bring the stretcher poles and oxygen tank. We're setting up a leverage system, Isabel said with technical precision. 10 minutes later, the improvised extraction system was completed. Structural leverage applied, space created, driver safely extracted. How did you know how to do that? The rescue driver asked in amazement. Engineering background, Isabel said simply. Second vehicle, SUV overturned. Family of 3 trapped underneath. Most dangerous situation. Vehicle stability compromised. Isabel conducted structural assessment. Rollover stability. Safe approach angles. Extraction sequence priority. Combat engineering expertise applied. Fire department personnel were arriving, but hydraulic equipment hadn't arrived yet. Ma'am, this situation requires specialized equipment, said Fire Captain Oliver Thorne. Agreed, but immediate action is required. Children are trapped, Isabel replied, moving toward the SUV. Improvised stabilization system using ambulance equipment and scene debris. Vehicle secured. Safe extraction corridor created. 15 minutes later, the family of 3 was safely extracted. Children frightened but uninjured. Parents in stable condition. Third extraction. Elderly couple trapped in rear-ended vehicle. Medical emergency combined with mechanical entrapment. Isabel established triage priority. Immediate medical stabilization while planning extraction. Combination of Ranger medical training and engineering expertise. Fire Captain Oliver Thorne and the rescue team watched Isabel's operations with amazement, professional extraction techniques, improvised engineering solutions, tactical medical priorities. Ma'am, this level of extraction expertise, where did you train? Captain Oliver Thorne asked with respect. Isabel hesitated. Time to reveal her 6-year secret. Military background. Army Rangers, combat engineering specialists, Isabel said quietly. Complete silence from the rescue team. The community's beloved ambulance nurse was actually an elite military rescue expert. Rangers? You were an Army Ranger? Lucian asked in disbelief. 75th Ranger Regiment. 12 years active duty. Combat engineering. Explosive ordnance disposal. Tactical rescue. Police and fire personnel gathered around listening. Professional respect was emerging for the extraordinary civilian who happened to be a military rescue specialist. The rescue families learned about Isabel's heroism. The first extraction victim, Mr. Frederick Hale, was emotional. Nurse Isabel, I knew you were special, but I didn't know you were a lifesaver. Mr. Frederick Hale, I'm still the same person. I'm still your paramedic. I'm here to help you in emergencies. Rescued family members expressed gratitude. Thanks to Isabel's expertise, our children are safe. Forever grateful. Isabel continued her normal emergency response duties, but colleagues saw her differently. Respect and admiration combined. How do you transition from Rangers to paramedic? Asked young EMT Sophie. Both jobs are about saving lives. Different methods, same mission. Isabel's story isn't just about heroism. It's about the evolution of service, spirit, the peaceful application of warrior skills. From Army Rangers to paramedic, from combat engineering to emergency rescue, from tactical response to healing touch, always serving. The Army taught fighting, emergency medicine taught healing. The community taught that both skills are valuable. Highway collision survivors say this when they see Isabel. Real warriors don't stop fighting. They find new battles worth fighting. Isabel's courage that day was the civilian application of Ranger training, military expertise applied in emergency rescue. I'm no longer a soldier, but the warrior spirit never ends. Service continues. Mission changes. Patients will understand in the future. Protection takes many forms. So I ask you, do you know veterans quietly serving in your emergency response community? Hidden military backgrounds, silently contributing in civilian emergency services. Share your experiences in the comments, because at Hidden Legends, we believe the greatest protectors often serve in the most critical community moments. If this story moved you, share it, subscribe, and to help these important veteran stories continue. We'll see you in the next legend. And remember, in the next emergency response, ambulance call, rescue operation, you might encounter military backgrounds you're unaware of. Real heroes transform their forms of service, but life-saving commitment is eternal.